How to tell if you're ready for a fat loss phase. Spoiler alert, you most likely aren't. At least I wasn't, okay? When I first started trying to lose weight, right? Like everybody else, I was a teenager. I was like 15 years old. And I did it all the wrong ways. I thought all you had to do was move your body more and eat a lot less. What I didn't realize is that there are repercussions to losing fat too quickly, okay? There are repercussions to undereating way too soon and pushing a diet phase too hard and too fast. And I realized that there is a balance that needs to be strucketh, when in a caloric deficit, when in a fat loss phase. That's kind of what this whole video is going to be about, okay? Because once you understand the biology behind it, I just felt a lot less anxiety around fat loss. I've realized that I needed to chill the fuck out. And instead of trying to do more, I started trying to do a lot less, which is so funny because you hire a coach and you think that I'm going to try to tell you to do more. But a lot of my clients, bro, I'm trying to get them to do less so they can actually sustain these habits long term, okay? 3 things I look for to know that I, as well as my clients, are ready for a fat loss phase. Take what serves you, leave what doesn't. Feel free to leave comments and questions about if this resonated with you, if you agree, what you disagree with. The first thing that I ask myself, or that I'm looking for to ensure that I'm ready for a fat loss phase, is I examine the life stressors in my life, okay? If my life stressors are at a high, or I am perceiving the stressors in my life to be at a high, I am most likely not in a position where it would make sense to engage in a fat loss phase. Because, bro, I think we underestimate, how big of a deal it is to eat less food on purpose. A fat loss phase is really just very strategic starvation, okay? We are eating less calories so that our body begins to literally burn the fat stores in our bodies for energy. We are literally in a period of restriction, a period of undereating. That is a stressful event for our body. If my life stressors are already at a high, adding another stressor on top of it in the form of a fat loss phase typically doesn't end well, right? Because when your life stressors are at a high, I most likely have less mental bandwidth. I most likely have less energy. My cognitive functioning probably isn't as good. It's just harder to make good decisions, bro, when you're fucking stressed out as shit. So the first thing I would do is try to either find a way to lower my stressors or change the way that I perceive my life stressors. What I needed to understand is that when you're a new person that's wanting to lose fat, there's most likely a lot of other things happening in your life that has caused you to gain this unwanted weight, or has caused you to grow into a body that you don't necessarily love, right? Whether it be a lack of exercise your whole life, whether it be not really having a structured eating routine in your life, right? We are a product of our upbringing. So I think a lot of people just want to jump straight into fat loss, but you haven't even figured out all of the other stuff. You haven't even figured out how to exercise correctly. You haven't even figured out how to eat enough food, eat consistently. You haven't even learned how to cook, how to make time to cook from home. You haven't even done the work to cut out relationships in your life that are bringing you down. Maybe friendships that are no longer serving you. This is all part of the fat loss process, right? Because our goal isn't just to lose fat, right? Our goal is to lose fat and keep it off long term. Because what's the point of losing fat if we're going to gain it all back? Anyone can do that. Anyone can lose fat and then gain it all back. But it's not everyone who can lose the fat because they changed their life circumstance. They changed their lifestyle. They changed the way they think. And then they sustained that change in habits for the rest of their life. So that's number 1, bitch. Check your life stressors. The second thing that I ask myself when I'm trying to figure out if I'm ready for a fat loss phase is I ask myself, how long have I been at a caloric maintenance? Here's what I mean by that. So I just explained that a fat loss phase is a stressful state for our body to be in, right? Our bodies were not designed, bro, to be in a perpetual state of fat loss. It is not smart to be in a caloric deficit for an extended period of time. A good rule of thumb is to only be in a deficit for 12 to 16 weeks at a time. If you do it this way, you stop the deficit, you stop the fat loss phase before your hunger becomes so heightened that it might trigger excessive eating and weight regain. Just from diet fatigue, you're just fatigued from under eating for an extended period of time, right? Because it'd be one thing to lose weight if we were fucking still hunter-gatherers and food was scarce, but that's not our situation. For most people, losing weight is not a matter of not knowing what to do. It's a matter of constantly having access to really delicious food all the time. So if we know that we already live in a world where food is abundant and we have access to calories in abundance, we don't want to get to a place where we're so hungry that all of that mental control, that cognitive power goes out the window. So the longest amount of time that I would recommend for like general population people, you and me, we're not bodybuilders, we don't have a deadline to get on a stage. I wouldn't recommend past 12 to 16 weeks, right? And then after you're done with your fat loss phase, you want to be at a maintenance or at a surplus for either an equal amount of time as you were in the deficit or double that time. Someone just pulled up next to me and I'm nervous, but I don't care. And this is just to give your body enough time to freaking recover. Give your metabolism enough time to recover. Give your mental willpower enough time to recover. Literally, this person just pulled in and then they pulled out because I think they see me talking to myself and it's making them feel weird. Sorry, bitch. You want to be at a maintenance for the same amount of time, if not longer, than you were just in a deficit. I've noticed personally, I need a full, double the amount of time that I was in a deficit. I need to be either at a maintenance or at a surplus just to give my body enough time to recover. Give my mind, bro, enough time to be ready to go back into a fat loss phase, right? Because like I was talking about, it's all in here, right? Fat loss is all in here. So I want to be at a place mentally. And that's so funny because the first 2 points were about your mind being in the right place. You got to be in the right place mentally to devote this time, energy, this attention, this commitment to this phase of life, this fat loss phase. Here's the thing. If you're sitting here and you're like, but Marina, this doesn't apply to me. I've never done a strategic fat loss phase like that. 9 out of the 10 women that come to work with me have little to no structure or consistency around their meal timing. So even if it's been a while since your last fat loss phase, if you're trying to immediately go into a fat loss phase, but you eat like a toddler, you wake up, you have a coffee, you forget to eat all day, and then you eat a big ass meal at night, you most likely, there's still things that you need to open your eyes to. Think of it like financial budgeting. Are you the type of person that you kind of just spend and then you're afraid to check your bank account and then you're like, dude, where the fuck is all my money going? I just got paid. If you're that type of person, you might find a lot of benefit from simply tracking your spending more closely. The same is true for calorie counting. I'll get a lot of clients who say, but Marina, I eat so little. I don't know why I'm struggling to lose weight. I want to see the receipts, bitch. I want you to count your calories for 12 weeks at a maintenance, not in a fat loss phase. Our goal is not to immediately go into a fat loss phase. Our goal is simply to count calories and observe the patterns, right? Our meal patterns, our behavior around food more closely. Because I'll get a lot of clients who think they're eating too little or they think they're eating too much. And then when we take a closer look at their calories and they show me the motherfucking Carfax, it's telling a completely different story. So how can you trust yourself if you don't have data to back it up? Okay, so that's kind of another aspect of the second point is before you go into a fat loss phase, spend at least 12 weeks. If you're smart, spend 24 weeks simply just observing your relationship to food and create a structured eating plan, bitch. I want you to consistently eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner around the same times for an extended period of time. I want you to learn how to feed yourself like an adult. I want you to learn how to eat more home-cooked foods. That alone is going to do crazy things for your physique. for the shape of your body. It's going to help you put on muscle. Obviously, you have to be weight training, but if you follow this account, then you're most likely weight training. It's going to help you put on muscle, and it's going to help you lose fat at the same time, especially if you're a beginner. And then the last thing I make sure that I'm doing before I go into a fat loss phase is I make sure that my relationship to food is in a good place. Whether you are brand new to counting calories or you're somebody who has done multiple fat loss phases before, I refuse to go into another fat loss phase until my diet fatigue has worn off. What do I mean by that? I don't have obsessive thoughts about food. I'm not thinking about food 24/7. I can have a meal, not really think about food until my next meal time. I'm feeling full after my meals, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. I feel full at the end of my meals. I'm not going to bed hungry, right? I almost like want to reset my mind and my biological health before I go into another fat loss phase. And that's why I was explaining why I like to spend most of my time at a maintenance. And that's kind of the tea, bitch. Big takeaways from this video is, for most people, we're going to benefit from having multiple fat loss and maintenance phases between our current body and our dream body. We're going to have to go through multiple fat loss phases before we achieve the body of our dreams. For reference, I've been strength training and minding my nutrition for 5 years now, consistently, right? And there's still more work for me to do to get to where I'm trying to go. So the sooner you can accept that this is a lifestyle, that the same way that you wouldn't expect yourself to become the CEO of your company in 3 months, you shouldn't expect yourself to achieve the body of your dream in 3 months. You know what I mean? It takes time. It takes years. Fuck, it might even take decades. But the sooner you can accept that, the sooner you can begin to approach this lifestyle, not from come on, hard and fast, let's go, and you can start enjoying the process. And guess what? When you enjoy the process, you're more likely to stick to it, bitch. Let me see if I skipped anything. Oh yeah, you know what I missed? Well, the second point that I made is I make sure that I've been in a maintenance for the same amount of time, if not longer, than my most previous cut. Another reason for this is because of our health, bitch. We're not meant to be in a deficit at all times. Being in a caloric deficit fucks with our health, right? It fucks with our energy, our digestion, our sleep, our menstrual cycle, our performance in the gym. It fucks with our hunger. Our hunger becomes heightened, both physically, biologically, right? But also mentally. Our minds become more food focused. And it's not because we're a piece of shit and, oh my God, you only think about food. It's because biologically we were designed to think about food in order to keep us alive. So yeah, there's many benefits and many obvious reasons why it's important to approach fat loss strategically. Stop trying to lose as much weight as possible as quickly as possible. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. It's never worked. It's always produced a very lackluster product that I'm never able to maintain. That's everything I have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Drop a comment, subscribe, share it with someone that you think could benefit from this information. All ways that you can let me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, that it's helpful for you, and that you want to see more of me. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.